Let's go, let's go, let's go. Welcome back to Chalk Talk with your host, me, JB, for the third year running. That's right, Home Team Sports has been coming to you and serving the community, our fans, our students, our athletes here on this platform. And we're so thankful, Coach. Thanks for being here. I got to get into this quick, fast, and in the hurry. You are in your second year at Spring Mills. This is our second year having you. What's it
Mhm.
like coaching now this year, not on the internship, Nerman? This is your program, and this is what you're going to be doing for these boys for the near future.
Well, I mean, I think honestly, nothing much has changed. I think we did a good job last year of putting down a foundation of what we're looking for. I mean, I think Coach Sims, when he was here, we all really still worked very closely together. And so what you're seeing now is just a product of what we started from years ago when we actually first got here, and then still moving on. So it's been one of those things we just picked up the mantle and we've been running with it.
And you guys made it to the playoffs. You had a very successful year last year. What was your off season like going into this year compared to years past, knowing that you're a playoff team? You're no longer hunting people. You now are the hunted. And so what's the preparation over the summer been like leading up to this game that we have tomorrow night against the Jefferson Cougars at Spring Mill Stadium?
Well, one of the big things we stressed was the weight room. And I think we found out towards the end of the season when we went down to Huntington, there was a different style of strength that we haven't necessarily seen. On this end, you have Martinsburg, you know what you're gonna get from Martinsburg. Very strong and very physical. But it was one of those things we went down there, it felt like we needed to step up in our program. And so this all season we really stressed the weight room. We've done a few things to try to motivate the kids to get in there, as far as picking that motivation up. But then you also look at our seniors. You got the Max, the Keons, the Kirks, those guys stepping up and really stressing, yo, this is it. 10 games are going to go very fast, so you better take advantage of every single one you get.
You have 10 guaranteed games. As of course,
Mhm.
everybody steps in the season hoping that they can play the 14, the maximum, the state championship.
Yeah.
That's what you guys are fighting for. Who are your leaders this year going into this year that you want to depend heavy on? That's going to be that on the field leadership that's going to get you through the tough times because we know that football is an up and down sport and you have to have those leaders. So who in the senior class can we depend on to seeing this year step up for Spring Mills?
Well, I think the first one you jump out is Max Anderson, and he's been doing it for a while for us now, the last couple of years, being that vocal leader. And I'll be honest with you, a kid that's really stepped up that I've seen step up this year, and it's been like a complete 180. It's been Keon Mills. Keon's been that guy who, even when there's young guys are in there, he's out there coaching his butt off like he's part of our staff. So he's really taken it upon himself to put these young guys on his wing. He's showing them how to run the routes, the adjustment they need to make, and also on the defense side of the ball. So he's been extremely vocal. And you look at the offensive line, Kirk has been doing it as well. I think Peyton Neff has been someone there for us. And this year, I'm really hoping, again, even though he's a young guy, he's starting to get a little bit more vocal with Abel Melzo there for us as well.
Well, it sounds like you got a good problem, Coach, that you have a lot of
Yeah.
people, a good set of people that
Yeah.
you really depend on as being leaders because we all know that like leadership is key in the sport of
Mhm.
football. So let's just turn our ears to a little bit of this Jefferson matchup you have. It's a familiar foe. It's an EPAC competitor that you're playing against. What do they bring to the table that you are focusing on that you have to be successful at stopping from
Mhm.
their offense going into Friday night's game?
Yeah. Well, first of all, Coach Turner has always done a wonderful job out there with his kids there. And I mean, one of the things that always jumps off the map to me is their speed. They are fast. I mean, they're fast all the way around. I think defensively, we better find a way to keep Roper in check. He's a kid. You give him a crease, he's going to take it, and he'll be down the sideline before you know it. So he's one he's an electric player. I think Tony Allen has been a wonderful kid. Just kind of watching some of the things he's done in the scrimmage here. So they've got guys like that. Dylan, their quarterback. These are kind of guys, if you don't do your job every single play, they're going to make you pay for it. I think offensively, we just got to stay ahead of the chain game. And that's been something we vocaled on last year is, starting first and 15, second and 20. That's hard to get back up to where you're supposed to be at. So just really one of those things. We want to take advantage. We want to cherish every possession we get and try to get a point or so out of it.
Yes, I mentioned you mentioned staying ahead of the chain. Your opponent, Jefferson High, they struggled last year with penalties and playing behind the chains. How important is it? Can we just talk a little bit more how important it is for an offensive person to stay ahead of the chains, to stay on schedule, to continue moving the ball forward? Because the
Mhm.
ultimate goal is the end zone.
Well, I mean, if you think about you're starting first and 15, that alone is going to change your style of play calling. And again, with your change of style of play calling, it's going to change what they do. So if you look at a team that's going to blitz more or blitz in general, when you're pinned back like that, especially on third and 15, they're going to come. And so now it gets kind of unique. Like how do I bounce it off? The whole chess piece of it. So how do I counteract what he's going to do? So to me, it's just one of those things. If we're able to stay ahead of the chain gang, it keeps the play call to what we can manage ourselves. So being able to take what we can get out of it.
We all know as coaches that the first game is that game. You got the excitement. You got the
Yeah.
jitters. You have the foolish penalties and things like that that you hope that you don't run into in week 10. So
Yep.
what is it like opening up the season against a conference opponent, somebody that knows you? What's it like going into a game with somebody that you're a little familiar with versus
Mhm.
playing someone downstate that you don't get to see, on a yearly basis?
Well, I think when you play someone that you know what to expect. And so typically, if you've been doing it for a few years, you generally have the type of offense, what kind of defense they're going to run, as far as like their personnel, what they're trying to do. It does ease it a little bit when you have a bigger game like this for the first week. I think if you go into a game like this, not familiar with someone, there's a lot of unknowns. And so then you have to really rely on film. So what are they putting out there for us to see? So this definitely, I think, more challenging when you have an unfamiliar opponent versus someone that you've been seeing year in, year out.
Well, Coach, I want to end with just two questions. One, I want to ask you, who's your impact player? Normally, I ask for two or three. I just want that
Yeah.
one this time, that one impact player that you may want to count on. Where it's a grind, it's a Friday night, it's the
Mhm.
first game. We need a
Mhm.
big play, offense, defense, special teams. It doesn't matter. Who is the person that you think that your team can depend on tomorrow night?
I mean, just based off production he's done in years past, I'm about to lean towards Max there. He's won the games on the line. I mean, we can count on him. He's going to get that yard. We need a yard or so. So, and that's both offensively. I would say definitely him. I would say if I was looking at defensively, I know we have Max out there, but again, I've been really impressed with Keon Mills. I think he's brought a lot to us on the D side of the ball. Just his communication alone. I mean, we've always said a long time, if you can line up correctly line up to a offense, that's half the battle. So, I mean, he's been one that's been vocal enough to make sure we're there.
And Coach, I just want to stir the pot a little bit. What is it like playing in the EPAC? I feel like sometimes, even though the state championship from years past has ran through Martinsburg, it is what it
Yeah,
is. But
yeah.
Martinsburg is a part of EPAC. What is it like? The EPAC's put in a couple teams in the playoffs. What's it like playing that EPAC schedule week in and week out versus being downstate and playing other teams that really don't even matter?
Well, I think you look at our side of the state, it is competitive. I mean, you even look at some of the other teams in the EPAC, everyone has absolutely gotten better this year. I think that even though with the familiarity part of it, there are athletes across the board. And then, some people might say, our linemen are not always big, but we confiscate that with the athletes that we have. So it's competitive. I've definitely learned. Obviously, being from Morgantown, we come over here one or two times to play Martinsburg and Musselman, and then we play a different kind of schedule. But it's competitive, and you have to be on your P's and Q's when you come to play the EPAC schedule.
Well, Coach, thanks for being on here for the first episode of Chalk Talk on season 3. We're glad that you're here. We want to, see our kids exceed both on and off the field. Best of luck. We pray that you guys leave injury-free. You guys tune in Friday night, Spring Mills High School, Jefferson and Spring Mills. I'm sorry, it's week 1.
Yeah.
We'll get hey, it's just like y'all gonna be playing. So we look forward to having you at Home Team Sports, and we look forward to seeing you again. And I want to see you week 13, 14.
All right.
See you in the
Yes,
playoffs.
sir.
You have a good day and good luck.
All right. I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right.